Hi friends, this is Selvajang here. Welcome to my networking channel. Hope all are doing good and safe. And today let us discuss about OSPF router ID. So router ID is a 32-bit binary number which is used to break the tie in DR-BDR election. So router ID can be either the highest physical interface, that is a physical IP address, or in case I'm using the loopback interface, always the loopback will take over the preference. That means highest loopback address is preferred. So if I manually configure any router ID, I have to do a clear IP OSPF process. So now let us go ahead and configure the OSPF routing on both the router, then we'll configure the router ID. So let us go to R1, go to the configuration mode and enable the routing protocol OSPF 100 followed by the enable the network 192.168.1.0 followed by 0.0.0.255 and followed by the area 0. This is the backbone area. Similar way, go to R2 and go to the configuration mode router OSPF 100 and then enable the network 192.168.1.0 followed by the wildcard mask and followed by the backbone area. So I configured. So now what we can do, let us go ahead and configure the router ID. So already I have defined the loopback interface. So here the loopback interface I defined as 222.222.222.222. So let us define here router OSPF 100 and let us do the router ID followed by this loopback address 222.222.222.222. Similar way, after saving it, you lost to do a clear IP OSPF process. After this, I have to do a clear IP OSPF process. Similarly, go to R2, go to the configuration mode and do router ID, router OSPF 100. Then I have to specify the router ID as. So here I configure as 1.1 111.111.111.111. So this is a router ID I specified, right? That is show IP interface brief. So this is a loopback interface I defined. So that loopback interface I have to specify as a router ID, right? So after that, what I have to do? I have to do a clear IP OSPF process. As I mentioned here, after manually configuring any router ID, you have to do a clear IP OSPF process. So to take the effect, clear IP OSPF process, say yes, and similar way go to R2 and do a clear IP OSPF process. So it will reset the neighbor relationship. I have done a clear IP OSPF process. So now let us see the election. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Similarly, go to R2 and check the show IP OSPF neighbor. So now you are able to see, right? Already I preferred this as a 222.222.222 and here I configured 111.111. So always the highest loopback address is preferred, right? Even though I configure the physical interface, always the loopback will take over the preference. So that is the reason I am seeing here as a neighboring router as a BDR. That means this is the lowest loopback address. So this is elected as a BDR R2, right? And R1 will be elected as a DR. So that's the thing you are able to see. Show IP OSPF, it is seeing 222.222.222. So since it is having the highest loopback interface, so this will be elected as a DR and this will be elected as a BDR. So this is how the router ID works. So router ID, which is a 32-bit binary number, which is elected by router with the highest loopback interface or the highest physical interface. So if I am configuring any router ID, I have to do a clear IP OSPF process. So this is how the OSPF router ID works. So this is a 32-bit binary number and it is also used to break the tie in DR-BDR election. So in case of DR-BDR election, we always go with the router ID. So it is elected by the router with the highest priority or the highest router ID. I hope you understood. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe me for more videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.